Hello and welcome to the Turquoise Trail Technology tutorial on adding apps to your school-issued iPad. If you have a school-issued iPad and it does not have Google Classroom or Google Meet, this tutorial is for you. If you have a school classroom and you do have those apps, then please check back at the Turquoise Trail website for other tutorials that might be relevant. So we need to add some apps, and to do so, we need to enter in an Apple ID that you have access to. So we do that by entering our settings option or our settings app. And in your settings app, please scroll down to the iTunes and App Store option in the left column. When you click on that, it opens up this window to the right where an Apple ID is located. This most likely is a foreign Apple ID, and what we need to do is to sign out of this account by clicking on that Apple ID and choosing the sign out option. Once you have signed out, the Apple ID field will show sign in, will be a sign in, and you can click on that to sign into your Apple ID. If you do not have an Apple ID, please open your favorite browser and do a search for create new Apple ID, and by doing that you'll have a option to create an Apple ID and then return to your settings, sign in with your Apple ID in the iTunes and App Store portion of your settings app. Once you have added your Apple ID in the iTunes and App Store, we can visit the App Store to download Google Classroom and Google Meet. Click on search in the bottom right of your App Store and do a search for Google Classroom. Once you see Google Classroom, I have an update because I've already downloaded it, but you will have a get option. And so you want to click on get for Google Classroom as well as Google Meet and any other Google apps that you or your teacher want to have on your iPad. Once your apps are downloaded, we need to open those apps and sign in with our school account. This is the most important step once you have your app. To sign in, please reference an email that was sent to you at the beginning of the year from Turquoise Trail, and most likely it is in the form of your student's first name, their last name, at TTSchool, TTSCHOOL.org, and click on next. That email should also let you know your student's password for that account. So please enter that password. It starts with 3 zeros and then it is your student ID number. If you need to, click on this I to the right of the password field, and it will show you what you typed in, and that can be very helpful to make sure you're typing in correctly. Then click next. And we have signed into our Google Classroom. It tells you what student you're signed in as, and in the upper right corner is a circle with an initial in it, a profile circle. When you click on that, it'll open up a window that lets you know what student account you're signed into. Please make sure it's the correct one. And if your iPad is being used by multiple students, you can add another account through that window too by clicking on add another account. Once you have added your account, the next step, I'll close this window, is to join your first class. In the bottom right, there's another circle with a plus symbol in it, and you're going to click on that, and it's going to open up a window that asks you for a class code. This class code should have been emailed to you by your student's teacher, and here you want to enter the class code. I'm going to be joining a first grade class, Miss Perez's class, and there's the code. Notice in the upper right corner, after you have entered a code, the word join has lit up blue, and you click on that join button, and it joins you to the class. Once in the class, I'll walk you through some of the features. In the upper left corner is a 3 horizontal line menu. That's always a menu in Google Apps. When you click on that, you have a home button that says classes. You'll also be able to navigate to other classes that you join through that menu. Let's look at that home, and you can see that there is just a banner with Mrs. Perez's first grade class, or whichever class title you have joined. And to enter into that classroom, you are just going to tap on anywhere on that banner. Once we are into our Google Classroom, at the bottom there are 3 tabs. A stream tab, that's when new assignments show up or any messages the teacher is sending to you through Google Classroom. There's the classwork tab, where your work is organized by topics, reading, math, special courses for Ms. Perez's class, and each of those topics have the assignments that are assigned to them. And finally, the people tab has the option of emailing your teachers. Let's look back at that classwork tab and the stream tab. There's an important piece of the puzzle. In this tab, in the upper right corner, there is an icon of a movie, a video camera. That video camera is the link to the Google meeting, the Google Meet meeting for that class. It is located in the classwork tab as well as the stream tab. There it is again. And when you click on that link, it's going to open up Google Meet. If you haven't signed into Google Meet, it may ask you to sign in. If you have signed into Google Meet, it will automatically log you in as the student that you just clicked that link for. So you can double check and say, okay, I'm in the correct account by clicking on that 3 horizontal line menu in the top right. Once again, I'm going to click away from it. 3 horizontal lines, click. It shows you which student you're in. And again, if you have multiple students, you can switch accounts. But it will open up according to the Google Classroom that you're signed into, as long as you're also signed into the Google Meet app with that account. Notice when I signed in, I'm going to close this and do it one more time because it's important to see. When I do this, look, it tells me what student I'm signed in at, but it also says that I cannot join this video call. And there are 2 reasons why it may not be letting me join this video call. The first is that I may be in the wrong account. So make sure you're in the right account. More than likely, you are in the right account if you've clicked on this link, but the way that these links work are like classroom doors. When a teacher leaves a classroom, they lock the door behind them and students can't get into that classroom. Likewise, when they leave a Google Meet, the Google Meeting door is locked and the student cannot get in. They only can get in when a teacher opens that door and allows them in. So please check your meeting times and communicate with your teacher as what those meeting times are so that you know that you're meeting at the right time. And then finally, make sure you're in the right account or in the right classroom. You may have multiple classrooms, and make sure that you're in the classroom where you're meeting. So if you're meeting your art class, make sure that you have joined that class by using this button down in the lower right, but also make sure that you're opening that class and clicking on that link for the class that you are supposed to be meeting in. All right, so we have walked through adding apps through the Settings app in the iTunes App Store by making sure we have our own personal Apple ID, going to the App Store, downloading the Google Classroom and Google Meet apps, and then finally signing into those apps by opening them up and using our Turquoise Trail account. I hope that was helpful. If you have questions, please contact the office, and also be sure to look back at the website for more informational tutorials. Thank you.